impacting lives, building leaders all around the world. Let us keep our dreams alive, 'cause tomorrow's gonna be a better day.
Welcome back to the Kettle World Youth Network podcast, where we connect with young leaders and voices from around the globe. Today, we have a very special guest joining us from Papua New Guinea to share their perspectives on the current situation and the rich culture of their country. We have Reminah, Kettle board member from Papua New Guinea. Welcome, Reminah.
Hello, Ashwathy. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so me and Reminah, we go back to a couple of 2 years, right? When we met at the Kettle conference in Atlanta. We were roommates. So we had a very good time at Kettle conference. And one of the biggest takeaways for me from the conference, one of them were coming to know more about Papua New Guinea from Reminah and her sister. And Edwin was also there. So it was really wonderful to know about the country. And to be honest, I don't have any idea. I did not get any information before from internet. And I guess that's the case with all of you listeners. We hear so less stories from Far East. And Reminah is here to share a lot of things that she had told me that time, but also much more and new developments that's happening in Papua New Guinea. And so, Reminah, before we start off, can you introduce yourself, share a little bit about where you're from, what drives your work as a young change maker in Papua New Guinea?
Thank you, Ashwathy. Hello again. Hi, everyone. My name is Reminah Vincent, and yes, I am from Papua New Guinea. I'm currently a student at the University of Papua New Guinea, so I am studying chemistry, and I also take part in, I volunteer with other organizations like Checktil and Checkmate Foundation, which is a NGO that was I use that NGO that was started by my sister. I also take part in other associations in the school. I really love being out with other young people and just learn from them and grow together. So yes, it has been a pleasure being with Checktil, and I also look forward to sharing with you all in this podcast. Thank you.
Thank you, Reminah. So we had the first ever Kettle Regional Conference in Papua New Guinea last year in August 2024. And Reminah was pivotal in putting together the conference. And so, Reminah, how was the youth response after the conference? And can you highlight some feedback or stories from and after the conference?
Yes, so it was really a big event. Last year, we had over 200 youth participating over the 2-day conference. And thanks to the Mama Knowles Family Foundation, we were also able to bring about 15 young people from other provinces in the country to attend the conference. So we had really good feedback from participants after the conference, mainly around areas the conference, mainly around areas of employment, mental health, and other pressing issues in the country and the region. The conference really did provide an avenue where conversations were started, and young people were given the opportunity to meet and connect with like-minded individuals who wants the best for our country and are willing to work together to make a difference in their community. So I still have people asking when the next Kettle conference in PNG will be. And, we have to tell them that we were fortunate to be selected as a host country for the conference last year in 2024. But it provides an opportunity for us to tell them that we have started a network here in the country and we invite them to our programs, etc. So yeah, it was really a big event.
Yeah, most of us attended it online using the YouTube, link, live streaming link. So
Mhm.
I know personally how fantastic that conference was, and the lineup of speakers and the interaction. It was amazing, and I'm pretty sure
Mhm.
that energy and the buzz that you had created is now translating into the regional center at Papua New Guinea, right? So, listeners, we do have Kektil regional centers in couple of countries. So Zambia has one, Kenya has one, and Papua New Guinea has a regional center now, and Remina is one of the people who's driving it. Can you let us know how it is shaping up, and what is the main impact that you plan for the youth in Papua New Guinea through the Kektil Regional Center?
Yes. So this is actually the second year of our establishment. We are based at the University of Papua New Guinea, as it provides the support we need to carry out our programs. The bulk of our members and also Kekti colleagues from PNG are also based in the capital city, and we have most of them studying at UPNG. So we formed an association and are running our programs here. We mainly bring capacity building programs that we see our youth need to equip them, as well as we try to start conversations about issues affecting us through panel discussions as well. We have not had a community project done. That is something we would like to incorporate into our programs in the future to strengthen our reach as well. We also look to expanding to other institutions in the country, and that will be with the help of our Kektil colleagues in other provinces and institutions. But these are just some things we look forward to.
Awesome. Okay, that's cool. And one thing that I found as from my research on the internet is that Papua New Guinea is experiencing something called youth bulge. So, like in India, we have this thing called a demographic dividend, where our average age group is at 27 years now. But I think in Papua New Guinea, the average age is much lesser, much younger, and you're experiencing in the country something called youth bulge, which is like a significant portion of the population is under 25 years old. So what are some of the biggest opportunities in the country, as well as challenges that young people face in Papua New Guinea in 2025? So I want you to speak about what you have seen around education, jobs, health, and community life in a whole as a young person from Papua New Guinea.
Well, starting with the biggest challenge I would say that I see is both in education and jobs. Year in and out, we have a growing population. However, we have few education institutions. We have what is like a bottleneck structure or a pyramid where you have more students at lower education institutions, like in elementary schools, and then the number decreases as you go up to primary schools, high schools, and less in colleges and universities. Due to limited space, we have a lot of young people dropping out of school. And then also after college, there are also fewer jobs. Um, but I have also seen recently, like since 2020, I've seen a lot of young people venturing into SMEs, small medium enterprises, which is really good. It's good to see young people creating opportunities for themselves. And the way I am viewing this is that I think it will continue to increase when we have more young people creating opportunities for themselves, despite the lack of job opportunities and education as well.
Okay. Oh, that's good. So entrepreneurship as a whole is picking up momentum in the country, right?
Yes.
Okay. And when I said youth bulge, the interesting statistics is that 60% of the population is, among youth that is under the age of 25. But also 60% of this youth population is unemployed. So this is the numbers that we are talking about, right? Only 30% actually gets jobs when they continue education and come out with a degree from the colleges. which is like a huge number. Sorry, 40%, not 30%. I stand corrected. So, how is youth coping with this? And I understand, as an entrepreneur myself, it's not easy to start a company and to build a organization. It's one of the most daunting tasks. So, how is the youth coping up with the fact that the choices are either get a job and the jobs are lesser, but or start a company, which is also quite hard. What other options do young people usually explore, and how are they coping with this?
Well, with the like I said, I've seen a lot of young people venturing into SMEs, but also due to other, like we have economic challenges, our currency dropping, and you know, when it comes to family obligations and other cultural obligations and all that, it results in young people falling into, mental health issues, falling into depression and anxiety. And that has also led to what we see, a rise of drug abuse and alcohol abuse as well in our communities. Looking back at past years, I think there's been a significant rise in alcohol abuse, not only in cities, but also in the villages. As I've been quite recently, I went to the village and I've seen that things have changed. There are a lot of young people also getting involved in drugs and alcohol. And I think it's also due to less employment opportunities as well. There is an increase in young people creating opportunities for themselves, but there's still a lot of young people out there that are also facing these challenges and are at loss. So it is quite like 50-50. We have half of the population optimistic and looking at the bright side of things and creating opportunities for themselves. And also we have others who are still struggling.
Mm. And on this note, I want to know about the role of government, not just in terms of where do they stand in helping young people with jobs. Also, are the youth voice heard by the government? How much involvement is youth given in the workings of the country's government?
I have had that there are youth representatives. There are youth representatives or networks in districts and in provincial level government. But it is not quite effective in the rural areas. So the youth voice is not really heard in that sense. But we have a lot of young people, especially in institutions that I know of, in colleges and universities that are starting associations. They're starting their own NGOs and are trying to raise their voices and work with other young people, other youths as well, to bring our voices across to the government as well. So yeah.
Good. Yeah. Is there any organizations, names, or something that we should know about who's actually creating these in Papua New Guinea right now?
Well, we have associations, we have NGOs like the Voice, we have YPIA. There are also what other organizations can I think of? So yes, we do have Voice Inc. They're also established in universities and institutions around the country. And then YPA, with an organization that we get to work quite close with. There are also other individuals in certain organizations that I know of. Like the art activism, we also have it's I'd say it's more to do with art and drama that they're also based in the city, but they're an activist group that also do try to bring across a message through drama and song and poetry and all that. So it's really nice.
Hey, that's cool. That's cool. Oh, that's wonderful to know. I really just wanted to know exactly how are the youth working and what's making them tick. So I understand that now. So zooming back into the mental health angle that you mentioned about how unemployment also leads to mental health problems for young people in Papua New Guinea. I understand that mental health is a very growing concern around the world, but especially in Papua New Guinea, right? You had highlighted a few instances I think last month, about suicides that are happening among youth in Papua New Guinea. And I think many of us do not get to read about this in the newspaper. It's not coming out in the public. So give us a picture of what's actually happening there, and how does what actually does mental health and well-being mean to young people in Papua New
Mm. Well, PNG is a highly community oriented society. So we can say the well-being of a person is closely tied to their family, clan, church, and tribe. And this collective view is going to show you that a person's struggle may also be a reflection of their relationships in their communities as well. So when it comes to mental health in the cultural context here in Papua New Guinea, little is known of its importance. Hence, it's usually overlooked. From my personal view, I see that there is a rising crisis among our youth. We're seeing more cases of depression and anxiety, suicide, um, much more in much more today than in the past. And again, I'm going to say it's due to growing pressures, like the influence of social media and financial stress, also with high expectations from family, community, and also the growing uncertainty of the future. All these pressuring young people. And I think the problem is that these are modern problems we have. We have these modern problems while we still have a cultural mentality where we do not talk about it. So mental health is not given priority enough for us to be aware of our struggles and to know who to reach out for help and when to. And yeah, and not only that, but also how we can respond if someone close to us reaches out to us when they are going through stress or depression. So that is basically what mental health looks for PNG right now.
So you mean there are the lack of helplines or any sort of support system that can actually help someone who needs help, right?
Yes. I think there are more in the cities, as I'm based in one right now, and also in institutions. There are help, there are support provided by institutions, but outside of that, there are few support. I think churches also do provide support for that as well, but people are not really open to talk about these issues affecting them, so they don't usually seek out help as well, even if it is available to them.
Is there like a stigma? Like in India, we had that problem only until last 2 years. Maybe post COVID, people actually started speaking about mental health and well-being, and we did have a lot of celebrities who come out and saying that they had also struggled with depression and other issues. So now young people are a little bit more ready to speak about it and seek out help. So I think the situation in Papua New Guinea is at least a couple of years before, what we used to experience in India, where if we go and tell our elders that we need help, we are usually branded as people with problems, we are asked not to speak about it so that people don't come to know about it or judge us in a way. Is that the situation in Papua New Guinea?
Well, here in Papua New Guinea, we don't, like I said, we don't usually talk about these things. And then also bringing it to the elders. Well, from my experience, I also had, um, a few years back, I had a struggle. I mean, I had struggle with depression, and I had a talk with it with my parents, and they were unsure of how to help me. So I think when it comes to talking about those issues, we don't talk about it because we've never had people openly, talk about these issues before. So it's quite new when we start talking about it and bringing it across. But there is also this mentality of like a stigma, like what you've said, that talking about, especially when it comes to our men, right? They don't talk about these things because it makes them seem weak or something. So we don't have these conversations, and it's quite new actually.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That is really that we'll come to the gender part. I really had a lot of questions around the community and the gender perspectives, but this is something very true. I mean, men are usually carrying the weight of hiding a lot of their problems just because society wants to look at them a certain way. I always feel they're carrying that weight and struggling from it. And sometimes at least women have it a little easier because we tend to open up with our friends and we feel safe talking about our problems. Yeah, but that's a conversation for later. But just coming back into this institutions, you said that health and support may be available in schools and communities, but not much outside the educational community, right? Are there any young people who have started working in this area, or do you think there is a space for young people to start organizations or any new projects helping other young people in this area?
So we have YPIA, an organization that Jektil usually partners with here in PNG. So they are also a youth-led organization in the forefront, talking about mental health. They create platforms. They also run workshops and start conversations surrounding mental health to break those stigmas surrounding mental health, and also make it more open for young people to bring their issues across. So we have YPIA, and we also have I believe we do have other youth-led initiatives in and around the country that may not be aware of. I also know of Marie Stolps, and they are more to do with the female mental health, but they do also talk about these issues and around mental health as well.
Awesome. Okay. All right. I'm just curious now. How is social media and like TikTok and Instagram? Is it a stress buster for young people, or do you think it has added to more of mental health and issues within this community of young people?
Well, I think that it is one of the factors that is affecting young people, or increasing the mental health challenges. As we, in today's society, you have young people viewing other people's lives through social media, only seeing the, good things that are being posted about, how they're progressing in their lives. And then there is comparison to their own lives. And, they're thinking at themselves that they're not progressing or the way other people are, and then that leads to depression and anxiety and all that. So I think social media is also one of the negative factors that is influencing mental health for young people here in the country as well. That's from my view.
Yeah. I mean, everyone will have different views, but even I feel like nowadays we have this doom scrolling problem. All of us suffer from that. We keep scrolling and the brain gets kind of addled. But otherwise, even I guess everywhere this is the problem. People tend to compare their lifestyles with others, and that actually adds on to the stress. So, I mean, I told you earlier I want to speak about the gender perspectives inside Papua New Guinea, right? So, can we speak about that? I just want to know what are the realities of a young woman living in Papua New Guinea today, especially when it comes to education, employment, safety, and health. So, I mean, from your perspectives, living as a young woman in Papua New Guinea, as well as what you've seen, observed around you, I want to know what is the community's perspectives from both lenses. What do you see and what others see about women in Papua New Guinea?
Well, from my view, I think we are still mainly influenced by our culture. So we quite our culture is different from place to place. So we have a very diverse culture here. Some areas are matrilineal, meaning that the women tend to get to inherit the land, and yeah. And then we have areas like, especially up in the highlands where I'm from, where men are, it's a patrilineal society, where men are the um, landowners and things like that. So that gets to, that also affects how our society is changing, and it's growing today. So we see that, like, in our parliament currently, we do not have a lot of females in the parliament. We have about two, one member and one governor of one province. So we do not have a lot of young women also taking part in politics as well. And that is mainly due to our cultural view of women. And we do not, in our culture and in the past, women do not take part in a lot of things. You do not see women talking in village meetings or given that uh, um, opportunity to become leaders. So it is quite challenging in that sense. You'll see a lot of, if there are women stepping up to do something, then we have we tend to see comments, especially like on social media. We get comments from the opposite gender, from the male, that they do not support or trust women's leadership. But we do also have men that are coming out to support women also in education and all sectors. But it is still quite a challenge, as we have most of our population are still in the rural areas, and that is the culture is a factor that really does influence that as well.
Okay. So, when you said there are matrilineal, some communities which are matrilineal, right? Even inside a matrilineal system, is it still true that women are stopped from voicing out, or is it different in those communities?
So in those, I wouldn't be, since I've never been to a community or province that is that has this that practice matrilineal, that practices this. But from my friends, what I've heard from my friends who are from those areas, in the past, there was this respect given to women as the landowners, and as the leaders of the family, head of the family and all that. But in translating to today, that was not translated, or that is not something that is happening today. Yes, they do still pass on their land and all that through the female, but it has not really provided that platform for women to step out and take lead in today's, in the politics or in areas like that. But yeah, I think
Yeah,
I'm not.
I
I don't know what happened.
I get what you're speaking about because I am myself coming from a matrilineal community, but I don't see the kind of revolutionary gender identity coming out of anyone inside this community, even if the hierarchy is matrilineal. But I always wonder, is it because of our colonial past? Like even Papua New Guinea, India, everybody has a colonial past, right? So I always wonder if that is where things changed, or has it always been like this culturally from the time before colonialism? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Maybe that would be the case. Um, we were in the past, we had um, different colonizers coming into the country, and most of those colonizers, their officials and all that were males, and I think maybe that would be um, what translated into all this male lead view.
That's true. So, leadership and community building wise, it is still a very male dominated area, right? Women are very less represented in those, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
are there any movements that are uh, coming up in terms of getting like how do you see that? Is there a trend, or is it not a problem that has been addressed yet about women that like not being represented in the government bodies enough, or even in leadership positions? Is there a trend of people or women seeking out change for this, or is that still in the future?
Yes, it is a growing trend actually. So in the, I believe the last previous two elections, we had more women running for the office than in the past years, and I think only what year was it? I can't remember. Um, we had more women participating in politics, and there is a growing trend also in other organizations like non-government organizations. We're seeing women getting promoted to CEO positions, and which is quite commendable. And yes, I think mainly this year I've seen a lot of offices getting women up to those levels. So it is new for a lot of us, and it is quite inspiring for young girls as well to see that happening. And I believe in the coming elections, there will still be more female participation, and also we'll have more females in the parliament as well. So it is a growing trend, yes.
That's cool. You did mention about when women do step up, there are like negative comments coming up from men, etc. Right? So, how do you view young, or rather, how do young men in Papua New Guinea view gender equality? Like, do they feel threatened, or do they feel like they can support and be allies? And what role do they usually play in supporting a young woman?
I've seen that, especially in the young males today, especially those that are educated, those in colleges, institutions, those in high schools. I've seen that they are the ones that are more open-minded and are providing support to the female. I think it's only mostly those that are still in the villages with the still very in deep with their culture and all that are the ones that are still not supporting the idea of women um, growing and leading us in the in communities and taking up those positions. But I've seen that more support is coming from educated men. Um, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So our young, those in schools and in our communities, there is growing support as well, and it's really good to see that.
When we talk about support, well, let's talk about supporting each other in a very common sense, like without the gender lens. So, how do young people, where do young people hang out digitally? Like, is it on, like, are they using a lot of social media for community building, or is it more offline? Like, what I mean to say is, do communities and those kind of organizations come up at colleges, schools, or where physically people are present, or is it equally possible to pull off something like that online in Papua New Guinea?
So I believe, well, sorry, can you repeat the question or maybe rephrase it? Yeah.
So, what I was thinking about is, so young people supporting each other, right? We have spoken about the gender factor. Then we have also spoken about mental health. Then we know about the unemployment and how people are also starting out enterprises. So, what I was wondering is, are young people more ready to come together and work together in digital spaces, like on Facebook, Instagram, or any WhatsApp communities, or are they more receptive to coming together in a physical setting, like in colleges, or are there like community spaces for young people to come together? So, what's your take on that? Because I'm also part of the community of Checkmate that yourself and your sister is running. So I've seen the interactions there, but I'm pretty sure the listeners here have not had the privilege of being part of any community from Papua New Guinea, right? So I just want to give them a sense of what is actually mostly, what works best in a Papua New Guinea youth setting? Communities inside digital spaces, or communities at venue in colleges, etc.
Well, I think not. I think, but I know that it's more to do with young people, and not only young people, but everyone here are more receptive to um, meeting like in person, not online. Online activities are not really um, that well received. Not a lot of people are familiar with that as well. Like we do not have a lot of young, people knowing how to use Zoom or all those online um, platforms. So, but social media, yes, there are. We had a when was it last? A few months ago, we had a movement on Facebook. So Facebook is more used here I think among our youth and people here. But when it comes to community activities or associations, um, projects and all that, it is more effective in person than online. There is more, yeah.
Yeah. So, like, if you want to start a movement, or if you want to just, get some sort of support, you probably have to actually band them together at venue and not online, right?
Yes.
No, I mean, the reason why I asked this question is there is this growing trend of couch activism, right? When we say couch activism, is people just sitting on their couch and, posting a lot of sensational things online and trying to start a revolution online, where they're just sitting at the comforts of their home. And I've seen this trend growing online couch activism globally, and also in India. Like, people are a little bit more. You can start a WhatsApp group or a Facebook group to, send around a digital petition to do something. But when you ask them to come somewhere and let's just be vocal about it, the turnout is quite less. So people have moved online for even activism. So that's where my question came from.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay. So, you know, uh, I want to just come back to the cultural diversity that you were talking about. We have spoken about, long back. And that is when I realized just the sheer number of languages that are spoken in Papua New Guinea, the sheer number of cultures and diversity that are there in Papua New Guinea. I also know people look quite different, right, across the country. And I'm pretty sure our listeners don't have any idea about this side of Papua New Guinea. Can you blow their minds by letting them know about what is actually Papua New Guinea? Like, what is Papua New Guinea?
Yes. So this is something that I believe almost everyone in Papua New Guinea is proud of. Our diversity. So we are quite diverse when it comes to our culture. We have like over 800 plus languages. And with these languages, there are different cultures and it varies from place to
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
That's due to the geography of our country. So a lot of places are quite separated and isolated. So in the isolation, different the cultures developed and evolved over time to be quite different. So yeah, I think that's the reason why we have so many different cultures and languages here in the country for a population of around 11 million. So yeah, that's something that we are quite proud of. I think you ask any Papua New Guinea what they're proud of about their country, and they'll just tell you, oh, we're proud of our culture, we're proud of our languages, that we are the most diverse country in terms of language in the world. So that is something we're very proud of.
Yeah. Do you understand a lot of languages or only your language and English? How is it?
Well, we have the two main languages that we speak are English and Tokpisin. Tokpisin is actually the Pidgin, so it's a mixture of English and I think German and other languages as well that was taught to us by the colonizers. But as for myself, my mom speaks a different language than my dad, and then I was born in a different district which has like three languages, and I can pick out words from there. Currently we live in a different district that has two different languages, so I am starting to pick out a few words and that, but yeah, it's quite a lot.
Yeah. That's cool.
I only speak talk the same English, and I am not really a good speaker of my own language.
Yeah. And culturally, how different is all these 800 communities? Like, how different? As in, is there some overlapping or is it like completely different?
Yes, there is some overlap. You'll notice that in like in a district, if there are two or three different cultural groups, they tend to share some similarities. And then yeah, so there are similarities also in the languages as well. There are some places that share the same dialect. I mean language, but different dialects. But yeah, only in areas that are close to each other,
Okay.
and then it changes.
Now I'm very curious. How are marriages usually happening in Papua New Guinea? Like, do you usually find people from within your communities, or yeah, how does that happen?
Well, in the past, there is arranged marriage.
Mhm.
So, like from stories I've heard from my grandparents and my parents, they choose their partners. The parents and the communities choose their who they are going to marry while they are like children. So they already know who they will marry, and it's usually within the same clan or tribe. Um, and also like marriage ceremonies differ from place to place. So but one thing in common is that we have the bride price that is done, and that is common from the highlands down to the coastal areas as well. Um, But recently, I mean, like nowadays, that is not the case. Of course, people choose their own partners, and there have been a lot of Oh, is it the right word to use? But we have a lot of people marrying out of their cultures and out of their provinces and districts. So now I've seen it is quite common if you ask someone where they're from, and they'll tell you, "Oh, I'm from a mixed parentage of this province and this province. I'm from this culture and this culture." So, yeah, it
Okay.
is. Um,
Yeah. No worries, no worries. And you were saying about the bride price, right? Is it how is it seen? Is it positively seen, or is it something that because why I'm asking you is in India, it has become a big problem. Like it was culturally present, but now it is illegal. So it does still happen. It is still practiced, but it can even lead to legal implications if people reveal that a bride price was paid. How was it viewed in Papua New Guinea?
well, in the past, I think it was a lot of things has changed. In the past, it was viewed as sharing of wealth among families, and you know, used as an that change is, I think, viewed in a good way. There is sharing of wealth among both the male and the female, the bride and the groom. Um, Usually, it's the male side of the family that pays the bride price, but there are some sort of way that the female's family also, the bride's family also, have an input in that. And you also, I think, in the recent years or lately, it has translated into a way of people boasting. So they're more into, the person that pays the highest amount of money and all that is seen as, I think, a way for the family to boast of their wealth and all that. And then there are also, talks especially in social media among the young people, like, oh, we do not want, among our young men, like, we do not want to pay bride price for a female who isn't a virgin. I've seen that quite a lot. So it has I think changed to something of a negative thing, I think. But it is still a big part of our culture, something that we're still proud of. But I think it would be better if the government could like regulate it, because people are, trying to the bride price is getting crazy high each year, and we're seeing, different people in different places trying to show off or be the province that has paid the highest amount of money and stuff like that. I think the highest amount of money paid for a bride price is at around 1 million, I think. That was in one of yeah. That was on years back, and people are still, competing and all that. And then also, like, it could affect the bride later on in life. Like, if she wanted to get a divorce, you know, then she could, it could affect her, having the male or the groom's family say, we paid quite a big amount of money for you, and you can't do that. Or, she can be subject to abuse and all that. So, yeah, there are both positive and negative aspects to it.
Yeah. Okay. So bride price in India is actually the other way. Like the girl goes to the family and the girl's family have to pay too. So that is one of the reasons why it has become a huge problem in India. But where the groom pays and where the groom's family has to shell out money. I've heard a similar situation in Zambia, where boys are reluctant to get into marriage because of the whole cost involved. And I also heard the same conversation where virgins are, like they really think it's worth paying a money, that amount for a virgin, and all those kind of conversations come up. So, yeah, I think it's a problem around the world in many countries.
Mm, it is.
And
And I think it is starting to become a problem in some places. I mean, it was meant to be just a way of the groom's family appreciating, the bride's family for raising her up, her uncles and all that. And then the females, the bride's family also reciprocating that, and seeing two families combining in a clan, or two communities getting together to celebrate their marriage and the start of a new family and all that. But yeah, over time it has changed. I think the idea behind it has changed, and that is what's causing all those problems.
And so, how are young people actually upholding these cultures? Like, I know if you had spoken about everyone being very, very proud of their cultures, right? Has Would it still remain the same, or is there some sort of modernization where people are reinterpreting the cultures and you know diluting traditions that used to happen?
I think there. Well, we still have. I think in the next couple of years we will still have these cultural practices going on. Like personally for myself, I know that I will still have a bride price ceremony if I get married, and also for my siblings and all that. So I think we still hold on to. There are certain cultures that we hold on tightly, and one of them is this bride price ceremony. And but it is getting, I think, yeah, I think it's still gonna be something that will continue um for a long time.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, it is always sad when we see cultural dilutions because it's mostly our identity, and we saw so much of this dilution happen during the colonization period. But I guess at least most of the countries have been able to maintain their cultures, and they remember all the traditions and they still uphold it. So I think young people around the world are seeking out cultural roots, even if there has been a period where the traditions are like lost. They're reviving it. So I guess it's a global thing. People are seeking out their cultural roots.
It is same for PNG as well. Yes.
Wow. And when we talk about traditions and culture, are there any rituals, festivals in Papua New Guinea that you would want the world to know about and appreciate? So I'll give you two things that two cultural, like it was novel to me. Two new things that I picked up when I interacted with you at the Kettle conference. So you have a honoring a welcome. It's more like a proclamation, right? So tell us about that. And the second thing was about the Belam, the bags, right? Two things that I learned from you. Am I? Is it that's the right word, right? Belam, the bag that you.
Yes.
Yes. So these are two things that I picked up. I want you to share with the listeners, as well as any other old traditions or new things for me, as well as new things to know for the listeners listening in.
Yeah, so I believe what you referred to was the first one was the Ganini made by led by Edwin. Was
Yes.
it the yes. So that one is like something of a war cry. That is particular in my in one of the district in my province. So that's the district that Edwin grew up in. It's from Goroka. So it's something that they do. And then there are only certain people who are, um, that's from my what I've heard from my friends who are from that district. So only certain people are allowed or can do that chant and walk cry. And it's something they do to honor people. So you'll see, I'm sure you've seen Pacific Islanders doing their war cries and all that in graduation ceremonies abroad. Yeah, so that is also something we do in graduation ceremonies. People to celebrate their achievements, and yeah, so that is from that particular district in my province. That's Eastern Highlands. And it is different in other provinces, other districts. They have their own different chants, their own different war cries. So, like when there are celebrations, you can pick out a type of chant or a type of war cry being made, and you'll know that, oh, that's from that particular district or that's from that particular province. So it is different from place to place. And then also the bilum.
Mhm.
So the Bilum also is different from place to place in the country. So you can tell from the pattern if the pattern and the style or the shape of the Bilum, if it's from the highlands or if it's from the coastal areas. And then from the design, which part of the highlands is it from, like which particular district or province exactly where it is that design is from. So every um, province, every district have their own design, that have their own style of bilum. So
Mhm.
it's something that we've embraced as part of our identity as well. So if I'm carrying a bilum and I'm walking, then other people from other districts or other places, when they see that bilum, they'll say, "Oh, okay, that bilum is from that place, from that district, from that place. So she's probably from there." So yeah, it's different from place to place, and it's something that we carry with pride as well.
It is like
Um,
a you knit it yourself, right?
yes, it is. So it's I think one of like our we really do prize it. So once we give it, when it's given as a gift, like it's seen as a really, an important gift, and we like to give people bills. So
I have a
yeah.
bill. All listeners, I have a bill. Yeah, thank you.
And also the designs also like have their own story. So the bilum that I gave you, it's a half diamond pattern, and it also has its own story.
Mhm.
So yeah, each design also have their own story, how it came to be and why it is made a certain way. So it's quite it's also a way that we tell our stories and pass it down from generations as well.
Yes. So what is the story of the half diamond bilum that I have?
Also, that one is actually excuse me, sorry. So the half diamond bilum is actually for young ladies who have not young girls
Mhm.
who have just seen their first menstruation or period and have gone what we call it there's a ceremony for that. um I think girls entering womanhood, something like, you can call it that. So in our I'm not sure of the coastal areas if they do this, but up in the highlands, this is what we do. So it's still very practiced today. I have had mine done. So when a girl first has her period, then she is placed in a house for like a week or two. It varies. And then along with her friends, and they're, given advice and talks, and they're fed and taken care of by their aunties and uncles and stuff like that. And then they are taught how to be a woman in that society. All these things are
Yeah.
wisdom is it gets passed on to them, and then before and after that there's a big ceremony held in the village. Like pigs are very I valued in our culture. So yeah, pigs are slaughtered, and she is dressed like I think in the past they put on really nice traditional attire for them. These days they buy clothes and stuff like that. So what we call Mary blouses, and yeah, present them with balloons, and then like it's a way of showing the community that, oh, this the girl has already entered womanhood, and like she's ready for marriage and stuff like that. That was like done in the past. Today, it's just a way of honoring that girl and all that. So yeah, that balloon, the half diamond design, it represents that girl coming, going into womanhood, coming out of the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. That's so beautiful. Okay. So, what are some of the things, like some, if for any tourist who's coming into Papua New Guinea, anyone who's coming in, a young traveler, what should they know and what would you recommend them to explore in Papua New Guinea?
Well, I would say there are different. I think it is quite known, or the media likes to portray Papua New Guinea as a very dangerous place. But it is quite, from my view, it is safe for tourists to come. But it is important that you get a local guide. Um, Instead of just coming on your own. But lately we had one of, I think, a YouTuber who has taken PNG by storm. She's Kenyan, Diana Daisy, that's her name. She crossed over from Indonesia, and now the whole country is like um really rooting for her, and I'm really happy that she's here. So I think from um for tourists or people thinking to visit Papua New Guinea, it's quite safe. You can come. Do check. We have like festivals at different times of the year at different provinces. So these festivals would be really a great opportunity for them to see our culture, and especially around our independence, which is in September 16th. So during that week, we have like everywhere in the country, people celebrate, and you will see a lot of display of culture and yeah, so it is quite an interesting event as well. So
That's good. Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to know. Which was the best time to come to Papua New Guinea?
but there are different places have different provinces also do have their own festivals and celebrations due to their own cultures. So like we have a canoe festival, the Gogodala Canoe Festival in Western Province, and there are some what's it called? I forgot. A festival in East New Britain. That's the place where we have those our blonde people there. So that happens in different times of the year. I think the a quick search on the internet will give you a guide on what the best time to travel to the country. But if you would like to just drop by, I think it would be September 16th during that week. The 10th to the 20th. There's so much celebration happening everywhere in the country. So that would be the best part to visit.
Yeah. And so we are almost coming towards the end of our podcast, and I want to know from you what are some of the hopes and dreams that you hold for the youth of Papua New Guinea. What do you envision coming in the coming few years for the youth in Papua New Guinea?
Well, I would like to see more, and it's great. I mean, being here, being part of Chetil, and I've come to meet with other like-minded young people like Edwin. I've come to meet him through Chetil, and also other young individuals, inspiring people that I've come to know. I've seen there's a growing trend of young people seeking out the best. Young people are really tired of the corruption and all that happening everywhere, and we want change. And it is good to see people coming out, stepping out to try to bring these changes back into the communities to bring hope. And I think that shows us that we have a bright future for people in our country. Yes, we do have corruption. Yes, we do have all those negative things that are happening. But the way I'm seeing our young people stepping out to seek opportunities, to create opportunities for themselves, I think we are heading in the right direction. And I would like to see more young people do that. I would like for us to, teach our young ones, our little siblings back at home, and those that are in the remote areas, those that are in marginalized communities, that there is hope, and you can always create a future that you want. And yeah, that is the hope I have for us here in PNG.
That's so beautiful. Is there any particular advice that you would like to give to the young people of Papua New Guinea?
Well, my advice is that I always, think back to what Madam Sherry used to talk about, the gift, that each of us have a gift that we'll give to the world. There is something in us that the world needs, and that we are all born with a purpose. So my advice would be, find out what it is that your gift is. Find out what your gift is and give it to the world, because only through that you will find fulfillment and happiness in what you do. So I believe like the world would be a better place if every one of us, serve each other in that sense. Find out what the gift that we have and give it to the world. So that is my advice for young people. Find out your purpose and then develop it and deliver it. Yeah.
Wow. Wow, such a beautiful note to wind up this podcast. I would have gone on speaking with you forever and ever, but it was such a wonderful thing to have this conversation today. And I hope we come back on a different podcast a few months later on anything new that's happening in Papua New Guinea, and we continue this conversation. Thank you so much, Reminah. It was wonderful talking to you, and I'm sure all the listeners had a beautiful time, like seeing Papua New Guinea through you. And I really wish all the very best for everything that's happening in your life, and all the things that you really want to achieve in your personal life, as well as through the Kektil Regional Center and all the things that you push for the young people to achieve. So
Thank you.
once again, yeah. Thanks a lot.
On it as well, yes.
Yes. So it's very crucial for young people to actually come out and speak about their countries and bring out their voices. And I think that is the main reason why we do the Kektil podcast. So we wish you all the best. And thank you, listeners, for tuning in to the Kektil World Youth Network podcast. We will come back with such insightful conversations and stories soon. And all the best, and bye-bye.
Bye.